push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. Yours truly, DJ Yoakley, with you for the next 60 minutes of local sports, and we're going to talk about some great things today. Great topic. I want to hear your expertise on this topic, as a matter of fact, because we're going to talk a little bit about multi-sport athletes, why it's so beneficial, why it's, in this day and age, almost necessary to be a multi-sport athlete. We're actually going to talk to a couple multi-sport athletes as well. One interview that I've been keeping kind of my paws on this entire time. Didn't want to let it go. I've wanted to let it go really the last couple of days, but haven't found the right opportunity. This interview you'll be able to find on ysnlive.com after the show. The story's already written, just waiting to release this into the wild. Brady Clyde and Chazzy Cognac from Struthers, two guys that both play not only multi-sport athletes, but these guys play two sports at the same time, golf and football. We're going to talk to them in just a little bit. We're also going to give you our plays of the week, brought to you by NST Performance. We released them last night, so if you didn't see them, you get to see them here momentarily. And of course, on this day in sports history. So without further ado, let's get the show started the way we always do, with On This Day in Sports History. Here we go. All right, Pirates fans, brace yourselves, because on this day, the 25th of October in 1955, Branch Rickey, yes, that Branch Rickey, steps down as the general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So for those out there who don't know who Branch Rickey is, the guy that was basically in charge of and became one of the biggest culture changers in the entire world of sports, with Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. The Pirates' vision is hot garbage. It's just Branch Rickey, one of the most influential people throughout sports history. And again, Pirates, so good at being so bad in decision-making. So congratulations, Pittsburgh Pirates. You're not just bad now. You've been bad for a very, very long time. They stink. They're just bad decision makers right now, and they just, everybody gets these text messages and updates right on their phone when something happens to your team. The team's trying to make it easier to follow them. Like, I'm not ever surprised when the Pirates gets just, how do I even, they just bring crappy players in. That's what they do. And they try to make a big deal of, we filled out our 40-man roster with the guy that stocks the shelves at your local Giant Eagle. Like, big deal. We're happy for him. He's getting a shot. But the Pirates will stink. You can't put minor league talent into a major league ballpark and expect it to compete. Just does not happen. I am so miserable right now because the Pirates stink, and I'm watching Pirate after Pirate after Pirate in the wild card series, the divisional round, the championship round, and now in the World Series. Stink. Get better. Be better. All right, let's get to the topic for today. Oh, actually, let's go to and hey, listen, you might want to plug your ears on this because it gets a little loud. It's the NST Sports Performance of the Week, brought to you by our friends over at nstsports.com. Here we go. This week's Plays of the Week brought to you by NST Sports Performance. Visit them on the web at nstsports.com.
And I was looking at the first
I was going to
stick.
say 24 stop.
And O'Brien released it, picked off Casey Lugers, and he'll be pushed out of bounds.
Malone from the gun, he's got 4 wide. He's going to have to throw it here. Way downfield. He's got a man open! Brady Banovsky, he's in! Shotgun for Klein. Takes the snap, fakes the give to White. Takes it himself, up the middle. Klein! For the lead! He is in! People will go on top! How about this kid?
And nothing makes me smile more than our guys getting excited about some of the best players in this area. Kudos to Anthony Romo, Gary Niddle on that first call. I was there, but they were doing – listen, when you're with Niddle, he does all the talking. But kudos to Romo and G-Nits on a great call. And then it was CJ Schroeds on the second call there. And, of course, the one, the only, Mikey McNuggies McKenzie on the number one play. So we had a big man pick, which was awesome, Casey Lugers. And then we went to Vinny Balone, one of the top quarterbacks in the entire, I don't want to say state and country. And then you get to the Beaver local Beavers, who are down in that game. Like, it did not look good. And they come back, take the lead, win the ball game, one of the hottest teams in the entire area, and McKenzie just going bananas, going nuts for good reason. Onside kicks, long touchdowns. The lights are flashing. It's a good spot. And that's why I love so much what we do at YSN, because you get so, you feel like you're part of the team. You're embedded in the fabric of that team, these teams. And when good things happen, you feel good. You hear the announcing. You heard it a couple weeks ago. When it goes bad, Gary Altizer from Wellsville, it was a 101-yard interception return on his team, and oh boy. Yeah, I mean, as much as it hurts, you feel for him. Pardon me, you feel for him, but you're also like, that's good broadcasting to me. Really, really good broadcasting to me. Kristen chiming in says, absolutely. Love it. All right, what do we got today? Have a day, McNuggies. Great call, and I'm going to have to put it in above Liberty. That almost never happens. We've been so fortunate to have McNuggies. Such a great call. Such a great young man. I don't know if you guys saw, he was doing senior pictures last night. We put it on our Facebook page, and they did a little golf segment and plugged the game for Friday. So if you haven't seen it, jump on Facebook, check it out. You'll have to go down a little bit because we tend to bury things. So let's talk about, you talk about multi-sport athletes. McNuggies is one of them. So he should, if he's out there, hop on, Michael, and we'll talk about multi-sport athletes as well, because golf, basketball, and baseball for McNuggies, and this is his last go-round. We're going to talk to two young men having their last go-round in Brady Clyde and Chazzy Cognac here in just a moment. But this is a topic, it's not sensitive. You're allowed to take a position on this, as we've been pretty, I don't want to say we've been pretty kind of one side or the other lately, but we've had some tough topics that you have to take a stand on. And this one, I'm taking a stand as someone who admittedly specialized in high school. I chose baseball over everything else in an era that specialization was being pushed. One sport was being pushed because that's how you get from point A to point B. Now that's 15-year-old DJ. And if I can go back, this hurts. If I can go back 22 years and talk to him and tell him you're better off playing as many sports as you can, being in as many activities as you can, because it makes you a more well-rounded individual. And it actually makes you more, and I'm going to tell you this, and somebody's going to question it, but every single coach I've talked to says multi-sport athletes are more appealing than specialized athletes. And that's not saying that guys that play only baseball or guys that play only basketball or only football or one sport, and I say guys, but I mean everybody, guys and girls. There can be specialists that are so good at their sport that, yes, they're probably going to receive some offers. But one of the first questions that a coach is going to ask is, why don't you play something else? Why don't you play football, volleyball, basketball, track, cross country, lacrosse? It goes on and on and on and on. That's one of the questions that these coaches are looking to ask you, along with what's your GPA, who are the kind of people you hang around, how involved are your parents, things of that nature. But specialized athletes are no longer first off, they're not really useful for schools. They're not. And schools won't tell you that, but they're not. Schools love when there's 50 kids on the football team, right? Coaches love that, or north of that. Coaches almost, like, they would never admit this, and they probably don't like to cut, but that's a luxury nowadays. Coaches and programs are scraping together kids they're recruiting their hallways, trying to find kids that have never played before, just to get bodies out there so they're not forced with, are we going to have a game? That's why multi-sport student athletes are incredibly important. Incredibly important. Because when push comes to shove, you start garnering these relationships with your teammates. And if you're only having that relationship for 2 months out of the year, 3 months out of the year, I guess, then how do you build on it outside of in the weight room? Everybody's in the weight room now, or should be. Every sport has their own weight training or routines for their workouts that keeps the team together in some form or fashion. I heard of, this was a few years ago, players that made pacts So if you played football, that guy would play baseball or basketball, or girls with softball and volleyball. Because it's tough. Parents don't realize this. It's tough to not be top dog, the big dog, so to speak, in a sport. It's tough because you know that you're really good at this sport, and that's where your passion is, and that's where your quote unquote talent lies. But your friend's really good in this sport, and they really want you to play with them there because not only your friends, you guys hang out, girls hang, whatever, but you like sharing the wins together and the misery that comes with some losses. It's nice to share those memories too, because you have someone you can lean on. Parents don't understand that sometimes. And maybe they do, and they just choose to kind of look the other way. But from my standpoint, as a media guy, as someone who has to kind of observe this, we are now living in a land of opportunity for multi-sport athletes, because most coaches and recruiters, and even the majority of parents that are involved, were multi-sport athletes in their day. And multi-sport student athletes understand multi-sport student athletes. There's more to talk about. There's more to lean on outside of, hey, how good's your fastball, or how good, what's your range on the basketball court, or what's your 40 time in football. There's more to discuss about what is it like for you to be able to juggle time management, still have time for your friends, still have time for a personal life, for family. And not that those are all important when it comes to X's and O's, but it is important when it comes to taking that next level, that next step to that next level, and understanding that there's a lot more to sports. There's a lot more of that student than there is the athlete. The athlete is almost expected, whereas the student, you kind of have to learn all over again. You're not in school from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock in college. You're taking classes, class for an hour. Then you got a lab. Then you have, it goes on and on. 6 a.m. practice, 4 p.m. practice, game day, travel schedules, things of that nature. College coaches and even high school coaches have figured out they don't necessarily have to babysit the players that played or are playing multiple sports. Because by the very definition, you're learning how to juggle time management. You're growing up at a quicker clip than a player that only has to worry about, okay, well, I don't have to do anything outside of what I want to do for the next 9 months because I'm out of season. It's the truth. And specifically when we're talking about guys like we're going to talk to here in a couple minutes, their time management is even more because they have to make sure that they understand both sides of the coin: golf, football. And while people still think that golf is some kind of leisurely sport at the high school level, I can promise you that it is more competitive in the last 4 or 5 years than it's ever been. More kids, more student athletes are opening their eyes to the game of golf. It's growing. 2020 certainly helped it. But the issue is, as we're going to find out, Rocco Turner just brings a state championship home. You're going to see more kids getting involved in golf. So what does that mean for the football team? We're going to talk to these guys. Let's let it loose on the world. Chazzy Cognac, Brady Clyde, right here on YSN. Here they go. Hey, everybody, welcome in for another player profile right here on your sports network. We got a double dose of Struthers Trouble for you with not only two guys, but two guys that play two sports at the very same time. We are joined by Chazzy Cognac and Brady Clyde. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so it's been one hell of a year for both of you guys from a golf standpoint, number one, and then you add the football aspect. And for my dollars and Skittles or whatever you want to talk about, you guys are the most fun team to watch because of the grit. I feel like you guys take that not only on the gridiron, but you also take it onto the golf course with you. Chaz, you want to kind of elaborate on that and start the show?
Yeah, for sure. It's hard, golf. We're always, outmanned. Usually we only have like 4 or 5 guys on the team, but it's kind of like a challenge, and we enjoy that, and I think we perform pretty well with that.
There's some, serious from a mentality standpoint differences between golf and football, right? Golf,
Yeah.
you can go knock somebody's face in, or I'm sorry, football, you could go knock. I guess golf you can too if you really want to. Football, you go knock somebody's face in. Golf, you kind of have to be even keel, not too high, not too low on any given shot. Brady, how do you get through that and kind of compartmentalize what you have to do, whether it's on the course or on the football field?
Yeah, it's really a mental game. While football is much as like a team game. You really have to keep your composure while you're out on the golf course. In football, you can let your anger out on the field, but golf, you just have to have the right mentality. You have to switch over.
Chaz, same question.
Yeah, I think you said it pretty well. Golf is really mentally challenging, and then football, it's mentally challenging, but it's obviously a very physical sport as well.
I think it's interesting because, you guys obviously can hold your own in either sport, but you kind of have to give that torch, so to speak, to somebody else on any given play. Do you guys ever kind of find yourself kind of like that, you don't want to give up the torch? You always want the ball. Even though you guys have a great team and a lot of great teammates and things of that nature, it's tough to take that golf mentality that you guys are hitting your own shots every single time into football, which sometimes is the very same day or at worst, very next day.
Yeah, when you don't have the ball in your hands, it can be a little frustrating, but I think we got a ton of playmakers. Our quarterback, Alec Razib, he's been a big player for our team. We lost our quarterback in the preseason, and he's stepped in and he's made a lot of plays for us.
Talk about Alec for a minute, man. To have all that pressure on him, to be the guy, and he's done it so well. And it would have been easy for you guys to just roll over and say, you know what, season's over, we lost our quarterback. But it seems like you guys kind of dug your cleats in a little bit, Brady. Do you feel like it's Struthers against the world at this point?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like senior year, we're in the playoffs, like just a crazy atmosphere. And Alec, he's just a gamer. Like he's nothing to it. Just he can go out there and do whatever needs to get done.
Yes.
I feel like you got dudes that step up at every position. I was telling you before we started this interview that South Range game scared a lot of burgundy and gold, and it certainly puts you guys. I hate to say it put you on the map this year. When you lost by 10, but that game felt like it was a nail biter the entire time. When you guys were on the sidelines for that, were you kind of like looking at each other like, hey, we can do this? Like at halftime, you guys were right there. What was kind of the conversation between friends and locker mates?
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people didn't think we were going to be in the game, but we go into every game fully expecting to win. And, we expected to be in that position because we practiced well. And I think we've, as a team, We deserved to be in that position, and I think played pretty well, but we weren't satisfied, and I think that shows with our record this year.
Now I'm kind of excited because I know what you're going to say, but I have to ask the question here, Brady. Do you feel like the Struthers Wildcats are the toughest out coming up in the playoffs in 2022?
I mean, I really think so. I mean, we had 2 tough overtime losses, which we could have 2 more like games we should have won on our record. So we're really like an underdog, really going in. I mean, pretty much sums it up.
So from a standpoint of you guys being seniors, what's the legacy that you want to leave this year? You've already unbelievably left your mark on everybody that watches YSN, because the ratings for Struthers have been off the charts because you guys have not only been in every game, but you fought through every single game, win or lose. What's the thing that you want people to remember most about this team?
Well, we all go by the slogan, trust that climb. And I think this season kind of, I don't think it can explain trust the climb any better. We started 1-4, and we could have, thrown a towel in and quit, but we won 4 straight games, and now we're in the playoffs. But we got a chance this week to have a home playoff game, and that's what we're shooting for.
So from a standpoint, Chaz, I'm going to lead this one to you, though. You've become one of the most dazzling receivers in the entire area. Some of the catches that you've made on the gridiron this year have left us all in awe. Is it a scenario where it's just muscle memory at this point? You can't make those one-handed grabs and spectacular catches you do on the sideline the way you do without having thousands and thousands of grabs along the way. What is it that makes those grabs look so great and for you look so easy?
I mean, a lot of practice, but every time the ball is thrown to me, I'm expected to catch it, and I expect myself to catch it. So honestly, if I don't catch the ball, I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal for me, really. I just expect to catch everything that's thrown to me.
Is there a receiver that you look up to the most in like college or NFL?
I would say Adam Thielen, since I'm a Vikings fan. I've watched him go from the lower college to all the way up to the pro, and he's I don't know, kind of who I model my game after.
I was going to say Thielen, yeah, but I mean, with all due respect, I think you're more of a Cooper Kupp, and especially in this area.
I'll take that too.
Brady, from a standpoint of who you model your game after, who is it? Who is it? NFL, college, who is it?
Oh man, when I was little growing up, watching Heath Miller play for the Steelers, he was always my number one. Yeah.
All right, you're my new favorite player. Sorry, Chaz. I mean, you see the Steelers going through adversity. You've gone through adversity. What did you learn through going through the fire, so to speak? I mean, you guys have had some tough years. You've had some great years. And obviously, you guys have come out on top as 2 of the best student athletes in the area. Brady, what have you learned by going through the adversity you have?
I mean, you just can't lose focus. And every week, you just got to keep coming back. Like you want it more and more each week. And you just want to have the best attitude you can have, even through the losses. It's the best way to overcome it. Just keep like wanting to win.
Chad, same thing for you. I mean, you've gone through your fair share of what over the years. I mean, you just keep shoveling and putting your shovel in the pile and moving the mountain one scoop at a time. How do you do it? How do you stay so focused and so engaged and make people think that what goes on doesn't bother you?
Definitely just keeping your head, off social media. Don't look at that stuff. And, just preparation. I think we all prepare ourselves during the off season really well. And it translates to on the golf course or on the football field.
All right, let's end with a couple. We'll end the on the field questions with this one for both of you guys. So we'll start with Chaz first, and then we'll go over to you, Brady. Would you rather have a state title, and this is an either or, in golf or in football?
That's really tough. I think I would rather have it in football because that's a memory that you could share with your friends forever. Golf, like a state title, that'd just be like an individual thing. So, I mean, it'd be really, really, really cool either way, but I think I'd rather have the football one so I could share the memories with my friends.
Brady?
Yeah, I'd have to go football. I mean, it's just like, that's just insane. Like, not many teams can do that.
I respect that, man. That's a fantastic answer. You're both going to be great politicians someday, by the way. So congratulations on that. Let's step off the field. Brady, you've got a lot of people in your life that love you and appreciate you and put you in the position you're in today. Shout them out. Why are they so important to you and putting you in this great opportunity that you guys have both on the course and on the gridiron?
I mean, both my mom and dad for sure have big roles in that. Both my coaches, Coach Bake, golf coach, Coach Kamak. I mean, for letting that happen, for us to play golf and football at the same time is really unheard of. No really sport. People I've talked to, like the golf coach, the football coach, don't get along with each other and stuff, and ours do perfectly fine. So they make the magic happen. So,
Chaz?
Pretty good.
Yeah, basically what he said, just being able to play both sports at the same time is a blessing. Definitely, yeah, our coaches make that happen. And I mean, our football coach could have, told us, no, we don't want you playing golf, or the golf coach could have told us the same thing, but they wanted us to succeed in both sports, and obviously our parents too, a big part of it.
All right. What does it mean to each of you to be a Struthers Wildcat? Chaz, we'll start with you, and then Brady will go to you.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. My dad went to Struthers, and they had a lot of good years back in the 1980s. And we see the playoff, the years that we've gone to the playoffs. Every year we go in the locker room, we see the years that we've gone to the playoffs. And we want to add to that list this year, and we are going to.
Brady?
Yeah, I mean, like what he said, like we walk in there just going to the playoffs, like that always wants to be like, you're looking at God, I want to be up there. Like it's just the number one motivates you to get there.
I can appreciate that, boys. All right. One last question for each of you. And this is the one that means the most, because we are literally less than 2 weeks away from Halloween.
Yeah.
Number one, is it okay for a senior in high school to trick or treat? And number two, what is the number one candy grab that you guys get if you were to go trick or treating?
You can go. You guys answer this one.
All right. I mean, I guess you go if you want some candy. I mean, I might go out and snag a couple. I mean, I'd probably
Well, he's gonna take every kid's candy. That's for sure.
Taking kids' candy?
I definitely.
What are you dressing up as, Brady?
I don't know. I might just sneak around and just nothing. Just sneak up and get some candy real quick.
He's a food connoisseur.
A food connoisseur. So we got to know, what is the number one candy that you'd take? Number one draft pick, man.
Probably got to go with Reese's or Twix.
No. You can't go Reese's or Twix. It's Reese's or Twix. Like, you can't go both. It's one or the other. Which one is it, man?
I'm going Snickers. Snickers is my number one.
That's the go.
I'll go Reese's because I love peanut butter. I mean, it's just right to it.
Two great picks. But I got to tell you, Kit Kat's my number one draft pick. Kit Kat bars on top.
Fair enough.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for spending some time with me tonight. And best of luck to you guys moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So there you have it. You got Brady, you got Chaz, and you got two guys that are playing two different sports at the same exact time. We talked already for a good amount of time on multi-sport athletes, and we're going to talk a little bit more when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour. We're going to talk about why it's so important from a coach's standpoint, from an employer standpoint, that you should be playing multiple sports as soon as you can. And I'm talking from the early ages all the way through high school and maybe even into college. All that and more when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
You're looking to your future, preparing for your goals, and they're closer than you think. Because here, success is part of the plan. It's a place where academic and social opportunities are meant to prepare you for life, not just the next 4 years. You'll be equipped to face new challenges and turn hard work into a career. You're ready for your success to take root. And here's where it starts. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
All right, welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Appreciate you kind of hanging out with me here today, flying solo like Han on the Millennium Falcon. And tomorrow, Richie Giuliano will be back in studio. Don't forget a few things, a few notes tonight. We have at 7 o'clock, one thing is Steve Leslie, Anthony Romo will be at the Golden Dawn with Ursuline, Coach Reardon, Casey Lugers, and Will Burney will be on hand for that. Don't miss that. Excuse me. Great. Here we go again. Don't miss that. If you can't be there, they'll all be on the site tonight, ysnlive.com. And at 7 o'clock, hang on, Richie Giuliano will be, speaking of Richie, he will be on the WFMJ Roundtable representing YSN with Dana Ballas, Champ Summers, and Greg McAfee. Can't wait for this. We talked a little bit about it yesterday with Richie, a young guy who is really the face of the franchise, growing into to his own here at YSN on a daily basis. Love seeing him get more exposure because he's, in my eyes, the best in the Valley. He really is. Richie is so knowledgeable, so passionate about local sports. He deserves this opportunity and so much more. And we've had so many great announcers come through here at YSN, whether they stay for a while, whether they stay forever, or maybe it's just a short stint and a cup of coffee here with us. We're so fortunate to have guys like Richie that want to do so much for the local athletes. So make sure you catch that tonight, 7 o'clock on WFMJ. You can check out, I think it's going to be streamed and on their Facebook pages, if I'm not mistaken. So check that out. And then, of course, 7:30, we'll be at Legends, 75-cent wing night, and so much more good food at Legends. And the company is just as good. Dan Yeagley, we will have Coach with Coach's Corner, as we have every week, and we'll have 3 players, 2 seniors left in the senior tour, and then Blake Ewert, the E-Train, will be coming through on tonight's episode of Player Profile in the South Range Raiders show. So get out there wherever you're going, and then I know there's playoff games too, so don't miss a playoff game. But certainly tune in and stop by and get some food, whether it's at the Golden Dawn or at Legends. And because we are so fortunate to have these sponsors, these great establishments and restaurants that have great food, like not even plugging them because it's an advertisement, plugging them because the food is that good. And Rick Friday, we thank them, and Megan, the entire staff out at Legends, can't thank you enough. So make sure you get out there tonight. And then we got more tomorrow and a little bit on Thursday. and we all know it's coming on Friday. So take time to patronize these great places, and you know, if you've never been there, trust me, you don't know what you're missing. Back to the conversation at hand with the multi-sport athletes. So from our standpoint at YSN, we love when athletes make that transition, like maybe they don't want to play anymore or they can't play anymore. So they pick up the microphone. They want to be part of our team because they still love the game. They have excessive knowledge about the game. They want to contribute somehow, because I feel like, and I could be wrong here, that once you embrace being part of a team, it is really hard. I mean, really hard to not be on one. Am I wrong? I mean, am I wrong on that? Because, listen, I've been on some good teams and I've been on some really bad teams. But I stayed on those teams because I love being part of that team, that culture, that mission, right? Enter your buzzword here. But the reality is those bus rides, those wind sprints, those tiger runs, those, long, painful days of practice is where you build that camaraderie. And I can understand now why it's so easy for kind of the addiction to set in with being a part of a team. Because when you're not a part of a team, you kind of feel alone. In today's day and age, there's a lot that can be kind of working in that space. Depression comes to mind. Like if you feel like you're alone, you can get depressed pretty quickly. That's why it's our job as parents and influencers to get kids as early as you can to get involved in more than one thing. And I don't mind if it's not sports affiliated. In fact, I encourage it. But get them involved, because the more an athlete, child, whichever context you want to put that person in, the more they're involved in, the more coachable they'll become, the more resourceful they will become, the better teammate they will become, and so much more. There's so many more pieces of that puzzle that I'm not even trying to sort out right now. I'm just trying to stick to the Cliff's Notes, if you will. Multi-sport athletes are using more than the same core group of muscles time and time again. So you have the physical side of things, the mental side of things, where they're part of a team. They're not alone. And the spiritual side of things is listen, the more people that you can reach out to, the better person typically you're going to become. You're going to become more well-rounded just from hanging out with different people. We all understand that if you hang out with the same type of people all of the time, you're going to, how do I say this politely? You're going to just be so one peg person, I guess. There's 50 pegs on the board, and you're just going to stay in that one spot instead of becoming what you could be and well-rounded and well-versed and accepting of those people. Most people are afraid or jealous or whatever when they don't know that person or reason or culture or whatever it may be. I firmly believe that if you're a multi-sport athlete, you diversify your portfolio tenfold every time you play a different sport, because you're not around this. And not every kid is playing the same sport. There's going to be people that maybe don't have the means to play baseball or don't want to play baseball or don't have the athletic ability to play baseball. And baseball just being a pure example. I'm not saying baseball, we're not going to get in that fight where one sport is harder to play than another. But baseball is one of those sports where you only see certain kids play. I think football is probably the sport where you see the most kids on the field at one particular time in that particular school. That's just how it is. Football coaches are great recruiters. Not to mention you can have multiple coaches on staff that bring their kid, bring their nephew, whatever. That's just how football is. There's multiple tentacles for the octopus to pull in kids and recruit their hallways and recruit, the grades below. We talk about foundation. That's how you do it. So it begs the question, how do we motivate these kids to play more sports? How do we motivate someone? Well, the first step is get him to play it at a younger level. Don't wait until high school to ask someone if they ever wanted to play a sport. Statistics will show you that year after year after year, as you climb that ladder in age from elementary school to middle school to high school, the numbers will go down. Because kids drop off, their interests change, their situation changes. So if you want your son or daughter to play baseball, basketball, football, run track and field, run cross country, play lacrosse, you should play them at a very young level. I'm under the impression that if you give a kid a chance to play a sport or they want to play a sport, they can't opt out after 1 year. They can't. You have to have at least 2 to 3 years of a sport for it to stick. Or at least have the chance to have it stick. Why is that? Because there's some parents out there, and I'm not sitting here saying that I'm by any means a super duper parent or someone that you should even listen to. But I hear it all the time. We'll just get through this season and then we don't have to worry about it again. Well, that's great, but what's the lesson you're teaching? The lesson you're teaching is finish, which is good, but all that work that you just put in for that year, we're just going to put it on the back burner. You're not garnering interest. You're garnering excuses for them later in life to say, well, I tried it, not my cup of tea, even if it was their cup of tea. Imagine playing video games where you only had one life. And if Mario slips through the bricks, you don't get to play again. Oh, well, I'll just go play, I'll just go do something else. But you really want to beat Mario. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, T-ball was fun. But if you want your kid to, or your kid has aspirations, I shouldn't say if you want your kid, because that's bad. That's bad. You're not living your life through your kids. You want them to play baseball next year, and you want them to, or they want to play in the major leagues. You can't just look at T-ball and say, that's a crystal clear picture of what I'm envisioning. It's either you're good in T-ball or you're not. Like, you got to give them a couple of years. Hand-eye coordination, motor skills, still getting off the ground. Then you get to middle school, and then you can, you play football or you play volleyball. And you have to learn the game. You have to learn the angles. You have to learn. You can watch all the football you want. It's not going to make you a great football player. Same with volleyball. But you learn it at a different age. You're equipped with this athletic talent that you gain from basketball and maybe flag football and baseball, these other sports. So now you're a little bit more ready, prepared. As everybody talks about, your bones are a little bit more mature. So it's not going to stunt growth and things of that nature in that 7th, 8th grade level. And then you get to high school. So if you're still playing, I forget what the stat was, and I don't even want to bring it up because I don't have it. But it was, if you're playing 3 sports in middle school, you'll probably play those same 3 sports at least into your freshman year. And what's crazy is these coaches in high school, we had a freshman coach, then we had a JV coach, and we had a varsity coach in basketball and football. And then in baseball, I think it was just JV and varsity. But you look at that, and the transition is, congratulations, young man, young lady. You went from playing everybody at the same age group at all the way through your life, from 4 years old on to 13, to now you're a 14-year-old playing an 18-year-old on the same field, on the same surface, whatever you're playing. And if you're playing one sport up to that point, you're at a significant disadvantage against someone who has been playing multiple sports throughout that time. Why? Point blank, your muscles. Secondly, your athleticism. Third, you understand that it is a team game and you know who you can count on. Right? Not that you couldn't figure it out, but at the same token, if you're good in 3 sports or even average in 3 sports, in the fall, you've got football, right? So maybe your learning curve in football teaches you what you have to do and how quickly you have to get there. You get to basketball. If you didn't play football, you're behind the kids that are playing multiple sports because your learning curve naturally is a little bit less mature. You don't know what to do. You don't know what you're up against for that first 3 months. You can think about it. You can have exhibitions. You can plan for it. But until you get on that basketball court and you've got someone that's 4 years older than you, you don't know what to expect. And let's say that you don't play football, you don't play basketball, but you're going to play baseball. You're even further behind that curve. Relationships have been established. Trust has been established. Your name has been established. Are you coachable? Are you a prima donna? All of that. And again, you go to all the way back to, do you have the athleticism the other kids do? Have you been sitting and eating Twinkies for the last 6 months preparing for baseball? You could be out hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and taking fly balls and doing all that stuff. But is it making you better, or are you going through the routines? Stuff that even if you don't pick up a bat for 6 months and you pick up a bat in the spring, you've been actively working out, actively hand-eye coordination. You're, again, being a teammate, being a team guy, getting your name out there. Your stamina is better. And again, I'm just taking from my standpoint of where it was. I can't imagine how elite these multi-sport athletes are. Girls especially. Because girls, they have all of these sports and then they're stacking up because they understand it. Naturally, girls are more mature mentally than boys are. And you can ask any coach and most teachers, they're going to tell you that. And you're going to see girls that are active in this, and then they're active in sports. I argue that girls have a distinct advantage to boys because very rarely do you hear a young lady say that she wants to be a WNBA star or a professional softball player. What sucks is those dreams are so far out there and they're so cataloged of what you have to be, but they get a reality check way before boys. I was 5'4" in a senior in high school thinking that I was going to be a Major League Baseball prospect. And not that that's bad to have big dreams, but to create that reality, that fall off, that cliff that everybody kind of falls off one day, it just got longer and longer. That road got longer and longer before the drop off, right? And of course you have backup plans and plan B, and I'm living my plan B. But if I was a multi-sport athlete, I think I would have had a better expectation, better grasp on not only what I was delusional at that point in the big dream of being a Major League Baseball player, but I think I would also understand a little bit more of what my strengths were a lot sooner than I did. Because sports, just like life, you learn what your strengths are very quickly. And the more sports that shine a light on that, the better opportunity sooner that you will have in life. Multi-sport athletes will always have a leg up no matter where they are in their path in life. That's what I'm trying to get across. And it starts at a very young age. So if you want your son or daughter or your nephew or niece to have that advantage at 18 years old, then they have to have that advantage at 5 years old. It's just how it works. I don't know that you can reverse engineer this. I don't know that you can create a multi-sport athlete at 18 if you don't create sooner. That's just my 2 cents. Nikki C says, go Quakers, go. Must have been a great topic for us today. Sorry for the rant. But honestly, multi-sport athletes, if you're going to be an athlete, you might as well play a few of them, right? Especially early going. Rock that foundation. That's going to do it for our show today. We will see you in 23 hours. Richie, thank God, comes back to the show. Again, tonight, watch FMJ. Make sure you check out Steve at the Dawn. I'll be at Legends. We'll see you next time on the Ysn Power Hour. God bless you. Peace be with you. And I'll see you 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Bye. Ysn thanks you for